Niyi Akan Naso. Follow us on Google. August 5, 2026 by Niyi Akan Naso. Ayo Bamgbose 1932-2026, The Linguist's Linguist. Professor Ayo Bamgbose, NNOM, FNAL, the great-grandfather of linguistics in Nigeria, joined departed ancestors on July 25, 2026. He was 94 years old. As the first professor of linguistics in Nigeria, he carried the banner of linguistics from Ibadan throughout Africa to the rest of the world. His fame quickly went global as the preeminent scholar of linguistics from Africa, notably of Yoruba language and linguistics. His work traversed the orthography, phonology, grammar, and the use of the Yoruba language in educating the Yoruba child in school. He went beyond Yoruba language to Nigeria's language policy, language education, and the broader discipline of socio-linguistics. In the manner of Western categorization, the entire continent of Africa is arrogated to you once you are a specialist in one language, culture, or some little space on the continent. So, in no time, Professor Bamgbose soon became the great scholar of African linguistics. In the process, he published or edited about a dozen books and monographs as well as over 130 journal articles and chapters in various books. His scholarship, thoroughness, and undisputed front row in African linguistics got him on the editorial boards of about 20 reputable journals worldwide. Read also, Resident Doctors Make U-Turn on Strike Threat. He also was a popular external examiner in linguistics, Yoruba, and English language for various universities in Nigeria and for other African countries, including Cameroon, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Zimbabwe. He was the preferred external examiner for the Department of English at the University of Ife, and he continued to perform that role for the Department of Linguistics, to which I transferred my service, when it split from English in 1976. The thought of Professor Bamgbose, doyen of the discipline, coming to re-examine the papers you had graded made you pay scrupulous attention to the task. He was not only a focused academic, he also was an astute administrator. He distinguished himself as head of department, dean of faculty, and pioneer warden of the postgraduate hall. He also chaired various Senate committees as well as the Jos Campus Committee of the University of Ibadan. This campus would later be transformed into the University of Jos powered by VID Crunch. A scholar's scholar, Professor Bamgbose was not interested in the cutthroat competition for the position of vice-chancellor. Rather, he chose to globalise his scholarship and professional acumen, by engaging in guest lectureship in over 30 universities worldwide. Nevertheless, he took on several assignments outside the university, including consultancies, committee assignments, directorships, and board memberships. Over the years, he was rewarded handsomely for his scholarship, professionalism, and service to the nation and to humanity at large through association memberships, fellowships, and other awards. Here at home, he was a recipient of the Nigerian National Order of Merit, the highest academic and intellectual award in the country. He also was a Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Letters NAL, of which he was inaugural president. Nigerian politics coverage. Related news. Professor Bamgbose's interest in Yoruba language attracted him to Professor Bob's Fafunways Ford Foundation-sponsored 6-year primary education project, situated at the University of Ife in 1968. I was a research assistant on the project from inception, working directly with Dr. Later Professor David Olatunbosunok, my favorite lecturer at Ife. It was he who introduced me to Professor Ayo Bamgbose in the course of the project. After reading much of Professor Bamgbose's work, I decided to visit him in his office in the Faculty of Arts at the University of Ibadan. I was overwhelmed by his candor. He got up from his chair to shake my hand, saying, the linguist from Ife. After beckoning me to sit down, he quickly told me he had read two of my recent publications, one on language education opportunities in Nigerian schools and the other on the mother tongue education policy in Nigeria, both of which appeared at different times in the journal, Educational Review. He went on to provide two interesting anecdotes from his own work and personal experience in support of the political and other factors I highlighted in my article, which hamper the implementation of the mother tongue education policy in Africa. One is about President Gnassingbé Eyadema of Togo. The president had commissioned a group of linguists to produce an orthography for his own language. On the completion of the group's work, Eyadema requested the reading of a passage written in the new orthography. On hearing the rendition, Eyadema cancelled the project and disbanded the group, all because the orthography was not based on his own dialect of the language. It is like the Ondo, Ekiti, or Ijebu rejecting the orthography of Yoruba on the basis that it was based on a different dialect, that of Oyo. Interestingly, such controversy delayed the acceptance of Igbo orthography for a long time. The second anecdote was equally interesting. Professor Bamgbose said he had told his son and his wife not to speak English to their newborn but to speak only Yoruba to and around him. The new couple agreed. However, later in the child's kindergarten years, the couple started speaking English to him at home. When Professor Bamgbose discovered, he reminded them of the agreement. However, the mother quickly explained that they discovered that the child could not answer simple questions in English, such as, "How old are you?" An admirable ring of consistency permeated Professor Bambgose's life and work. First, there is the consistency of place. His lifelong activities radiated between Oyo and Ibadan, where he went to school and later worked in different capacities. He never really left Oyo since attending St. Andrew's College there and initially trained as a grade 2 teacher. He worked on the transformation of the teacher training college, first into a college of education and later into a full-fledged university of education. Besides, part of the college's historic campus also houses the A.J. Crowther University. Professor Bamgbose contributed to them all. However, his most enduring contribution is to the University of Ibadan, to which he returned after training or engagements elsewhere. There he was trained. He also trained students there, who, in turn, trained other students there and elsewhere. There is also the consistency of discipline and disciplinary orientation. His entire academic work was anchored on language, its orthography, structure, and use in various contexts. Professor Bamgbose may have left us, but his scholarship remains in his academic offspring and in bookstores and libraries across the globe.